Hello everyone, welcome to Bschool Buddies. So we are back with our part two of the series on Guesstimates. In case this is the first interaction with me, I'm Prashant Chaudhary and we are Bschool Buddies, a community of Bschool goers. In our last video, we understood that what are guesstimates, why exactly we need to learn these guesstimates, and why companies are asking these in the summer and final placement interviews. Then we talked about some methods which can be used to solve guess. So we typically talked about these four methods: top-down approach, bottom-up approach, constraint-based approach, and using simple maths. Now, what we will do in this particular video is that we will deep dive into the first of these methods, which is top-down approach, and we will try to solve one of the guesstimates here only by using this particular method so that you can learn this method end to end. So not let's not get the time wasted and get started with this particular method. So as the name suggests, top-down approach. So we are moving from the top to bottom. Now, when I said top, that means a larger number. So what is essentially happening here is that there's a large number which is there. Now, this large number can be, let's say, the population of India. It can be, let's say, the population of Mumbai. It can be, let's say, the population of world. Such a large number, and what we'll do, we will move to a smaller number. Now, what this smaller number will be? Now, since I'm moving down to a smaller number, of course, the smaller number must be the required number, which is being asked in the guessing. So what I'm doing is, I'm, let's say, moving from the population of this world to the required number which is being asked in the guess estimate. Now, how will I do it? I will do it by breaking it down. So what I will do is I will divide the population of India into several parts so that finally I can arrive at the required. Okay. Now, what all parts these can be? What should be the criteria to break down the population of world or population of India? So one criteria that I can think of can be gender, right? We can divide the population of India into male, female, and the third gender, right? Second thing that we can do here is maybe place of residence. So we can divide the population of India on the based on the place of residence, what it can be: rural, semi-urban, and urban. Third, it can be maybe on the labor or maybe on the gender, okay, male, female. It can be on the basis of age. It can be, let's say, on the big basis of income level, poor, middle class, and rich. So these are some of the criteria which we can use while dividing or breaking it down the population of India, or breaking it down the larger number which is there. Now, why are we breaking it down? So that we can reach to the required number. So whenever we are selecting these criteria, we will keep in mind that what is the requirement, and accordingly we will choose the criteria so that we can actually reach to the criteria. Now there can be some added criteria as well based on the question that is there. So what is top-down approach? Top-down approach is nothing but starting with a large number so that we can break it down into smaller chunks so that finally we can arrive at a required. Now, the turn is to solve a guesstimate so that we can learn this method end to end. Great. So the question here is estimate the number of toothbrushes sold in India in a year. Now, if you really want to take a try on this particular question, just pause this video maybe for 5 minutes. 5 minutes should be good enough to solve this question, and then solve this question. Of course, either you have paused this video and you're back, or you want to continue. So I'm just solving this question now. So the question is, estimate the number of toothbrushes sold in India in a year. Now, if you remember, this is the first type of guesstimate that we discussed, right? This can be estimate the number of anything and everything sold in any geographical region in any time frame. Okay, so that is the general guesstimate statement. Now, the question is estimate the number of toothbrushes. Now, of course, if we are talking about the toothbrushes, what do you think among the criteria that we listed down, what should matter here? One is that age can matter here. Of course, if let's say someone is too old, they might not be using a toothbrush. Okay, someone is too young, they might not be using a toothbrush. Another criteria here can be income level. Let's say someone is too poor, they might not be using a toothbrush. Someone is too rich, they might not be using the normal kind of toothbrush. They might be using electrical kind of toothbrush. Place of residence can another criteria. Let's say someone is in place. There's a high chance that they might be using a natural kind of toothbrush. Someone is living in city, there's a high chance that they are using some toothbrush or they are maybe using an electric toothbrush. Okay, so these can be few criteria that we can use. Now again, here we are solving the question, so it doesn't really make sense to take a lot of criteria. So what we'll do is we will choose just two criteria. One of the five that we already this is now. So among the ones that I just discussed, place of residence seems a better criteria to me. So place of residence being one. Another can be the type of toothbrush. Okay. Now, what I said earlier was that there are some general criteria, just like place of residence, but there are some specific criteria which will depend on the question. So, here the question is about toothbrushes. If you really want to reach to the toothbrushes, you need to consider the type of toothbrushes. Type of toothbrush. What can be the place of residence? Place of residence can be urban, rural, or semi. What can be the type of toothbrushes? Type of toothbrushes can be regular, the normal kind that almost all of us use, the electric kind, and the natural kind. When I say natural, it can be that someone doesn't use, then also they will come in the natural kind. It can also be, if let's say they're using some powder, there's some lal dant manjan and all. Okay, so any kind of powder that will come in the natural. If someone is using tree brushes or something like that, this will also come in natural. Okay, so this is how it is. Now, what we're doing here is we are using top to down approach, where we will start, since geographical location is India, we will start from the population of India. So we are starting from the population of India. What's the end goal? End goal is to find the number of. So finally, we need to arrive at the number. How will we divide the population of India? Of course, the first criteria, that is place of residence. So that can be urban, semi-urban, and rural. Okay. Now, if let's say the population of India is, there's no let's say, I'm just assuming a right number, that is 140 crore. Now, if we talk about the urban, semi-urban, and rural split, again, there can be multiple. Again, we don't tend to know the right answer here. So what I'm doing, I'm assuming a number which I believe is. It can be wrong, it can be right, but at this point of time, whatever I remember, I can just. So I'm assuming that urban population, again, I'm talking about the population, not the registered population, is 30%. Semi-urban again is, or maybe I'm assuming these to be 25% and 25%. 25%. This is 25%. Again, I'm going by my instinct. It doesn't matter what the real number is. And rural is 50%. Okay. What is 25% of 140 crore? It is 35 crores. So urban population is 35 crore. Semi-urban population again is 35 crore and rural population is 70 crore. First criteria is done. The second criteria we will use is type of toothbrush. Okay. So what I'm saying is that if let's say 35 crores are living in urban area, what type of toothbrush are they using? Okay, so I'm just making a table here. One is regular kind, another is electric kind, another is natural. Okay. So I'm just writing the percentage of people who are using regular. So in the urban, I think maximum people will be using regular only. So I'm assuming it to be 80%. How many will be using electric? Maybe 5%. And 15, I'm just assuming for natural. Now you might be thinking 15 is still a large number for natural toothbrush, but to be very frank, there's a large part of population who still use the natural toothbrush, especially the people who are living in on footpath, rec pickers and all. They might not be using toothbrush. And this is again my instinct. Your instinct might be different, according to the answer will be different. In the semi-urban areas, Regular again, I think will be 80% around. Electric, I'm assuming it to be zero because even the 5% seems a large number for the urban population. So I'm assuming whatever be the population in the semi-urban, the rural areas, I have already taken into the consideration when I'm talking about the urban. And 20% I'm taking in natural. In the villages, I'm taking 70% as regular, and 0% is electric, of course, and 40% is natural. Okay. Now there must be some number here, which is 80% 35. There must be some number here. There must be some number here. I will fill that number. Okay. I will fill that. Just that I will move a little forward so that I need to know which all numbers do I need and which all numbers I don't need. Okay. Now, if let's say I know that how many people use regular toothbrush, will I be able to find the number of toothbrushes on the basis of that? No, I will not be. So what I also need the consumption pattern per year. Okay. So how many toothbrushes one is buying? So if I talk about the regular toothbrush, the recommended span is, I think, 3 months for the regular toothbrushes. And I assume that most of the people are not following that particular span, but some might be following. So I'm assuming that 4 months is the regular span, but there might be some lost and found. There might be someone buying new if you're visiting a new place. That's why I'm assuming it with 3 months old. So 3 months is the regular span. That is 3 months for one toothbrush. Per toothbrush, that means 4 toothbrush a year. For electric toothbrush, again, you need not to change it. Only the head of the electric toothbrush is changed. I think 2 years is good to go for electric toothbrush because a lot of people are buying it new. So I'm again assuming that 1 year per toothbrush. So one toothbrush per year. For natural, no one is buying natural toothbrush. That means 0 toothbrush per year. So that means natural toothbrush are not sold at all. That means I need not to care about the natural numbers. Okay, so I'm just ignoring it. What I'm using here is regular toothbrush. So regular toothbrush, the total number is 80% of 35. Again, 80% of 35. So I'm just calculating the 80% of 35. How much it should be? So it is nothing but 0.8 multiplied by 35. So it is 28, right? So regular is 28 plus 28, 70% of 70, that is 49. So it is nothing but 28 plus 28, that is 56, plus 40, that is 105. 105 crore. Okay, that is the most of the population is using. Now, comma, electric toothbrush. So electric is nothing but 5% of 35. Now, how much should be the 5% of 35? It should be very less. That is 0.05 multiplied by 35. This is 1.75. So electric is nothing but 1.75 crore. Now, this 105 crore population is buying 4 toothbrush in a year. That means I need to multiply it by 4. So I'm just multiplying it by 4 so that I can assume it to be 420 crore. 420 again is a unique number, but yeah, that is the answer. Here, only one toothbrush per year. That means 1.75 crore. Okay, so the final answer should be the regular toothbrushes plus electric toothbrushes. That means how much it should be? It should be 420 plus 1.75 crore. So that is 421.75 crore. This is the final number that I calculated. Now, you might have taken a different approach. You might have assumed the numbers different. So please tell me in the comments what number you have got as the final answer. And if you think my answer is wrong and yours is right, of course, I will love to know your views in the comment. If you want us to cover something else as well as this new series, please let us know. And let's meet again in the next video of this Guesstimates series, where we will be taking the second method and solve a guesstimate based on that. Meanwhile, you can follow us on our social media channels. Of course, you can subscribe to our YouTube channel and like this video. You can follow us on LinkedIn and Instagram as well. And if you are a final year student, please join our final placement program, which is completely free for all the students. You will be provided the mock PIs, mock GD, 2 sessions from the seasoned mentors, and one-to-one interaction with these mentors. Let's meet in the next video. Thank you so much.